After dinner at the hotel, I strolled back to my room with my friends, our laughter and jokes filling the hallways. The evening had been casual, filled with lighthearted conversations, snapshots, and even a few playful videos. One friend had been capturing moments on camera just for memories, and I hadn't thought much of it at the time. To me, it was simply a way to remember the night and the happiness we shared. Little did I know that innocent recording would soon ignite a storm in my marriage. When I got home, everything seemed normal at first. My husband asked about the dinner, and I smiled, describing the food, the laughter, and the cheerful atmosphere. But there was something strange in his expression. His smile didn't reach his eyes. In his hand, he held his phone, and I realized he had already seen a video from that night online. It was the same video, yet he viewed it very differently than I had. His first words cut sharply through the air. "Who was that man sitting next to you?" I froze, then understood he was referring to an old classmate who had joined our dinner. In the video, we were simply laughing over something silly, but from an outsider's perspective, it might have seemed too intimate. I tried to explain immediately, but his eyes narrowed, revealing doubt. The trust that once defined us was being replaced by suspicion. I kept insisting it was harmless, that nothing inappropriate had happened. Still, he replayed the clip over and over, scrutinizing every gesture, every smile. To him, my laughter appeared flirtatious, and my friendly demeanor seemed like betrayal. I reminded him I had introduced him to my classmate before, yet anger and jealousy had already clouded his judgment. He muttered under his breath, questioning my loyalty, and I felt like a criminal under interrogation. My hands trembled, not from guilt, but from helplessness. The night grew heavy with silence after our argument. He went to bed without another word, leaving me alone, staring at the walls. My thoughts kept turning over the same idea, how something so innocent could become so toxic. I wished I had never gone to that dinner, never appeared in that video. Yet, deep down, I longed for him to trust me enough to see the truth. Days passed, and the distance between us only widened. He avoided my eyes, answered curtly, and sometimes left the room when I tried to explain again. I felt like I was living with a stranger, punished for a crime I hadn't committed. My heart ached for the warmth of the man who once believed in me, without question. One evening, I decided I could no longer endure the silence. I sat down with him, took his hand despite his attempt to pull away, and pleaded for him to listen. I recounted every detail of the dinner, the guests, the conversations, the nature of our laughter, emphasizing that nothing meant more than friendship. My voice trembled as I reminded him of our vows, to trust, to believe, to stand together even when doubt threatened. This time, he listened quietly. His anger wasn't as sharp, though I could see the conflict in his eyes. Part of him remained wounded by jealousy, while another part seemed to recognize his unfairness. After a long pause, he spoke. "I don't want to lose you, but I can't stand the thought of you with someone else." His voice had softened, and I could sense the fear behind his anger. Tears filled my eyes as I reassured him once more that he was the only one I loved. I reminded him that no video could define our reality, that trust held far more weight than any blurry clip. Gradually, the doubt in his eyes faded, replaced by guilt for having questioned me. It wasn't an immediate fix, but that night marked a turning point. He apologized for his lack of trust, and I forgave him, though the memory of his suspicion lingered. We promised to communicate better, to never allow misunderstandings or outside influences to come between us again. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a step toward healing. Looking back, I realized how delicate trust can be, how quickly love can be shaken by even a fleeting doubt. But I also learned that when two people are willing to fight for their bond, even the most challenging misunderstandings can be overcome. The video that almost destroyed us ended up teaching a lesson we would never forget. Love must always outweigh suspicion.